Hello, everybody. Today we shall study the lesson The Happy Prince. This story is about a prince. When the prince was alive, he was very happy. But after his death, a big statue of his was erected and he could see the whole city from there. He saw the poor, the miserable, and the hungry. And he was very sad, and this chapter tells the story of that happy prince. The statue of a prince stood on a high platform overlooking the city. The prince was called Happy because when he was alive, he always remained happy. But after his death, a big statue was erected at the center of the city and he could see the whole city. The statue of this happy prince was covered with thin gold, and instead of eyeballs, there were two bright shining sapphire stones. In the handle of his sword, a bright ruby stone was placed. As soon as the bird looked up, he saw that the eyes of the happy prince statue were filled with tears. These drops of water were the teardrops falling from the statue's golden cheeks. When the swallow looked at Happy Prince's face, it was looking beautifully in the moonlight. The bird's heart was filled with pity for the weeping statue. It asked the statue that who it was. The statue replied that it was the happy prince. The swallow thought that the statue of the happy prince, but it was crying. The bird asked the statue that why it was crying. It added that it had soaked it with its tears. When the happy prince was telling his sad story, the swallow was thinking about something else in his mind. The bird wondered that the statue of the prince was not made of solid gold. It was surprising. It thought that from outside the statue was covered with gold, but as it said that the heart was made of lead and not of gold. It realized that it was hollow and was not made of solid gold. It saw that the statue was very sad and was crying. So he did not make any personal remarks. It did not comment anything about the statue because it was giving values to the statue's feelings. The woman was embroidering flowers of a gown of the queen's maid who would walk along with the queen during the court ball. The statue said that the lady who was embroidering the gown had a little boy who was not well. He was suffering from fever and was asking his mother to give him oranges. His mother was very poor and she had no money. She could only give him water, all that also river water, and that is why the little boy was crying. So the happy prince statue requested the swallow to take out the ruby stone from the handle of its sword and give it to the lady. It added that its feet were fastened to the platform because of which it could not move. The swallow replied that it had to go to Egypt. His friends are waiting there. The swallow said that its friends are in Egypt. They are flying near the Nile River and talking to the large lotus flowers which grew there. Soon they would go to sleep, and so it wanted to reach Egypt at the earliest. The statue requested the swallow to stay with him for just one night. He said to him to be his messenger and work on its behalf. He said that the boy was very thirsty and his mother was very sad. So it should go and give the ruby stone to her. At once and again the swallow opposed his request and said that it did not like boys, so why should it help that boy? Moreover, it had to go to Egypt. But the happy prince was very sad. The happy prince was so sad that the swallow felt sorry for him. It said that it was very cold there, but it would stay with him for one night and next morning it would go and do his work. The happy prince thanked him. Finally, the swallow took out the ruby stone from the happy prince's sword, and the bird took the ruby with its beak and flew over the town. As this swallow was on its way to the poor woman's house, it passed the cathedral. The cathedral is a church, and on the church tower, white colored marble angels with sculpture. When he reached the palace, he crossed the palace and he could hear the sound of the dancings from inside the palace. When the swallow was crossing over the palace, a girl came out on the balcony along with her lover. She was hoping that the gown which she had given to the seamstress for embroidery would be ready on time. She was talking about the same gown on which that lady was doing embroidery, to whom the bird had to give the ruby stones. When the swallow flew over the river, ships also came along the way. Lanterns were hanging on their sail. Finally, the swallow reached the woman's house. The boy was suffering from fever, and for that reason he was not able to go to sleep. So he was turning left and right on his bed, and his mother was very tired due to the work for long and had fallen asleep. Such a pitiable condition. Next morning, the swallow bird went to the river and took a bath and thought that that night he would reach Egypt. He was very happy for that. And when it was night, the moon rose in the sky, and the swallow went to the happy prince and sought permission to leave for Egypt. Now again the happy prince requested the swallow to stay back for one more night, and the swallow replied disheartened that he needed and wanted to go to Egypt because all his friends were waiting for him. Now here the happy prince is telling the swallow about his second work. He says that far across the city I could see a small dark room at the top of a house where a young man was sitting. The prince said that it was very sad that he did not have any more rubies with him. Happy Prince said that now he had his eyes, which were made of very precious and rare sapphire stones, which had been brought thousands of years ago from India. So Happy Prince told Swallow to take out one sapphire and give it to the boy. The Swallow was very sad to learn that the Happy Prince wanted to give his eyes to that boy, and he started crying. He told the Happy Prince that he could not do that. But then the Happy Prince ordered the Swallow to do that, what he was telling him. So finally, the Swallow took out one eye, one sapphire out of the prince's eye, and flew to the young man's garret. There was a hole on the roof of the room. So the Swallow entered the room through that hole. The boy was sitting with his head on his hand, and that's why he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wing. And when he looked up, he saw the sapphire stone lying on the dried flowers. Now, this was the third assignment. The happy prince said that there was a match girl. She was a little girl, and all her matchsticks had fallen in the gutter and got wet. All the matchsticks were spoiled, so she could not sell them and she would not earn any money. So, earning of money was very important. And when she could go home without money, then her father would get angry and beat her. For this reason, the girl was crying. Further, the happy prince said that she was not wearing shoes or stockings and she had not covered her head. So she was extremely poor. The happy prince said to the swallow to tell him wonderful things, but added that nothing was more wonderful than the suffering of people all around. No misery was bigger than the sadness, and he wanted to know who all were sad in his kingdom. So he asked the swallow to go and let him know what was he seeing while he was flying over the city. Further, the swallow saw two little boys under the archway of the bridge. They were lying much close to each other so that they kept themselves warm. They were so poor they did not have food. They were trying to keep themselves warm. The bird did not want to die, so he used to go to the bakery where the baker used to bake the bread, to eat the bread crumbs and try to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. The swallow was aware that he was about to die. He had only enough strength to fly back to the statue of Happy Prince. And he says, Happy Prince, though that swallow wanted to go to Egypt, but he could not. The swallow bird said to the Happy Prince that he was not going to Egypt, but to House of Death. He added that death was the brother of sleep. He kissed the Happy Prince on his lips and fell down to the feet of the Happy Prince and died. As soon as the bird died on the feet of the happy prince, an unusual sound came out from the statue. The sound was of the breaking of the statue's heart, which was made of lead. The heart broke because of the death of his beloved bird, but it is said that it was so cold that the heart broke into two pieces. The mayor said that it seemed as if it was the statue of a beggar, and the town councillors agreed with him. The mayor noticed that a dead bird was lying on the feet of the statue. Then he told the councillors to pass an order that the birds were not allowed to die on the feet of the statue, and the town clerk made a note of the suggestions given by him. The art professor of the university said that now the statue of the prince did not look beautiful and was not useful anymore, so they should demolish it and remove it. So they melted the statue, which was made of lead, in a furnace. The supervisor of the foundry saw a strange thing. The heart of the Happy Prince statue, which was broken into two pieces, was not melting in the furnace. So they threw that away. The story of the Happy Prince is indeed sorrowful, but it teaches us a lot of things. We have to serve mankind, we have to help each other, we have to help the poor. And then only God will have mercy on us. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.